Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I have another experiment for you. In the last video I showed you a cool delay trick, and now I want to show you how you can use that together with another trick to make a vocal really your own. And really morph it up and transform it, but still make it intelligible. So this is the same project. Here we have the sequence that I talked about in the last video with that delay trick, and here's the vocal that we're going to be examining today. Now you can hear that the vocal is still intelligible in the sense that you can hear what is being said and you will understand what he is saying, but it does have a really cool tonal effect to it, and it's constantly morphing and changing. And also it does really sound different from the source signal, which is really cool. So this is the example.
Human race is a product of accelerated evolution. The Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings called the Anunnaki who come from a planet called Nibiru. It's on an elliptical orbit every 3,600 years comes between us and Mars.
And one of the reasons why it came here is because gold is very difficult to find in the universe.
They realized that they could take these suspended particles of gold, put them in their atmosphere, and it would protect.
And I think you will be surprised if I tell you that this is actually the voice of Joe Rogan. So without any of the effects, this is what it sounds like.
Human race is a product of accelerated evolution. The Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings called the Anunnaki who come from a planet called Nibiru that's on an elliptical orbit every 3,600 years comes between.
So you can actually hear that it's really mangling up the voice. I'm now going to run through the process and talk about each effect, but there's really only two effects that make this work. Before that though, we need to prepare the sound for these two effects. So what we're doing is we're generating kind of some higher mid-range frequencies and then cutting out the extreme high end of the vocal so we don't get a too bright vocal out of this.
Human race is a product of accelerated evolution. The Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings.
We then go through M Transformer, which is doing all of the movements. This is a pitch and format shifter. You could also use a plugin like Little Alter Boy if you don't have M Transformer. But just like with stereo widening plugins, I do recommend that you have a few pitch shifters and format shifters that you can experiment with to see which one gives the best result. I do really like M Transformer on vocals. It keeps a very natural tone to it, so it's very useful for that. And the way that I've set this up is that we're automating the pitch shift as well as the format shift, which you'll see in a little bit, and then the keep formats amount is static. This means that the formats are slightly kept intact. You can imagine that if you keep it at 0%, the formats are going to shift with the pitch shift. And if you keep it at 100%, they are going to stay where they are independent of the pitch shift. So the pitch is going to change, but not the spikes and the dips in the actual formats. In this case, we have a slight middle ground between the two effects. So as I said, the pitch shift and the format shift move over time.
Human race is a product of accelerated evolution. The Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings called the Anunnaki who come from a planet called Nibiru.
It's on an elliptical orbit every 3,600 years comes between us and Mars.
And one of the reasons why it came here is because gold is very difficult to find in the universe.
They realized that they could take these suspended particles of gold, put them in their atmosphere, and it would protect them.
Human race.
You can hear that over time I'm using the movement to also make the vocal brighter. I think that's a cool rising effect that once I arrange this track will really work with the context of the track. Obviously, right now there is no context, this was just an experiment, but later in the track I'll write around that effect. The next process that we're using is that same delay process that we talked about in the last video. As I explained, these delays are specifically tied to the key of the track. You just take a fundamental frequency of the track and you can shift around the octave if you want, and then you divide 1000 by the frequency to get the millisecond timing that you need to set right here. This is going to extend it and give it that robotic feeling.
Human race is a product of accelerated evolution. The Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings called the Anunnaki who come from a planet called Nibiru.
Then for further processing, we have a delay. This is just a standard delay. We have some EQing to brighten it up. We have a SSL compressor to really keep the dynamics in check. We have a reverb, and then finally I have some gain increase to increase the gain lost from some of the other processes right here.
Human race is a product of accelerated evolution. The Sumerian text depicts these godlike beings called the Anunnaki who come from a planet called Nibiru.
It's on an elliptical orbit every 3,600 years comes between us and Mars.
And one of the reasons why it came here is because...
And with that, we have our vocal line. So that's where I'm going to end it today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by leaving a like and make sure that you're subscribed if you're new here. Also, you can support me financially on Gumroad by buying my products, or on my Patreon, where you will find early access to my videos as well as discount codes for my products. But that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.